Hello and welcome back. This is day 18. We are in week 3, day 4, if you're keeping track. And today we're going to look at creating a page on a social site. We're going to start with, we're going to do Facebook, although there's, you could do this in pretty much anything. You could do this in, LinkedIn has got some, if you want to go out to any of the photo type sharing, Snapchat, stuff like that, YouTube. You have channels and things like that. But this is just, generally speaking, some things that you want to do as you're promoting yourself. Now, if you go to Facebook, you can create a new page. Tell it what you are, whether you're, this may be for a product, it may be for your company, maybe it's, some like entertainment, probably if it's just, some sort of a content thing. So if I went out and created that, let's choose a category. Let me do entertainment. I'll actually do, let me do a cause or community. No, let me do entertainment. I'll stay with that. And this is going to be a book. And I'm going to go create a page, get started. And it's going to ask you to upload a profile picture, which I would go ahead and do, create something there. And you're also going to want a cover photo. I'm going to skip those in this case because I can. And then it's going to go in and ask people that you might want to have like it. And it's going to start walking you through it, including a post to the page. Now, these are separate from post to your normal stream, because what it's going to do is it's going to be only on this page and related to people that have that are following that page. If they're friends and family and things like that on Facebook, then you're not necessarily going to see it. Now let's flip over to, if I go to the Developreneur page, we can see here where I've created the icon, I've got my banner, and you're going to want something like this so that people that come into it are going to see, something about your site. They're going to be, be able to recognize that that's, what this site is, that it's what it's all about. Now, as an owner, you are going to see some different information from what they would see. They're going to see, really just what you've put together, but it's going to allow you to do some configuration here. So you can go in and it's going to give you some helps from a Facebook point of view. It's going to give you some help on doing stuff. It's going to tell you some different type of posts that you can put together. You can see here that we've got some posts that we've put through in the past. These are all links actually out to our Developreneur site. So if anybody clicks on a link, it's going to end up going out there. You can also see some photos that we've posted at some time in the past. If you go in and you look at the community, you can see some of the latest information that's come across to it as far as likes. And some people that have followers. We don't have a whole lot of followers right now. We haven't really pushed this one out. But I can see here, I can see quite a bit of different information. I can go in here and create advertising, which in Facebook and LinkedIn, at least you have to have a company page to be able to do some advertising, because that's where it's going to drive you. You can go in and do ads, ad managers, things like that. We will not cover that today because that's its own little thing. You can create some milestones, which would be basically just to say, hey, something big happened. Usually I do something like, site launched, relaunch, book released, things like that. You can throw some photos out on a regular basis, but it's also going to, if you want to, things that you want to share. Also, it'll pick up ones off of your posts. Like if you see here, all of these pictures pretty much have come off of recent posts for the most part. You can also post some videos, so you could even do Facebook Live. You can come in and actually, which is not a bad idea, is go in and do a little riff on whatever your content is and throw that out on the video library. Definitely you're going to want to post on a regular basis. Give some reason for people to come out there. We tend to do about we typically do about a post a day average to the Developreneur site. It's typically, that's what I do on Facebook, maybe 1 to 2 a day. Twitter, you're going to do a little bit more if you're out on a Twitter site. Snapchat's a little different. LinkedIn's a little different. I tend to do less to LinkedIn and more to Facebook and a lot more to Skype, for example. So I can't just hide that stuff off, can I? There we go. Sort of shrink this down and make it a little simpler then. Now, some things that you do want to do is you want to make sure that you talk about your company, add some information here, like what we're focused on, what is our, what's your vision, what's your mission. Don't be afraid to send it out to people. Don't be afraid to post in your normal stream. Hopefully some friends and family will start, following. Put it as a link on a regular basis out on like put it on your business cards, put it out on your website so that there's ways for people to easily come to your page. This should be an extension of your website, and depending on how you do it, depending on who your target community is, your target users are, they may spend more time on your Facebook page than your site, or vice versa. We tend to, at least with the developreneur world, we have sort of dartboarded a little bit more. We really don't have as many people that interact with us through Facebook as we do the website. That just happens to be a good central location. It's more likely where people are going to read our blog posts. It's also more likely where people are going to come from the podcast like this. So, we don't spend quite as much time on it, but we do have it out there. And it is something that at some point we may turn around and do some Facebook advertising to try to get some people to drive them to that page, which then we're going to want to drive them to our site. And what you do want to do is, as much as possible, have a consistency from your website to your various pages. And so as you see here, as you may have already noticed, it's very much the same kind of brand. If you go out pretty much anywhere that you would see us, I'm trying to think of where else we would go. You're going to see the same. So I can go to Twitter, because we do have a Twitter account. And if I go there, that's the wrong one. And I think it is. So, and then again, you can see if you go to our Twitter page, again, same kind of thing. So it's very similar from place to place. You're going to see, that brand. You're going to have the same kind of message. You want to make sure that you tell them about who you are and what you're focused on. You should have that same sort of stuff here. Now, it does ask you to build out a story on Facebook. They do a pretty good job of it. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there and go back out there. There's definitely an about that you can come in and put a lot of information on your company. The more of this information you put, the better. I would definitely take a look at it. Take a look at some of your competitor sites. See what's out there. Because all of this stuff is going to end up showing up on Google sooner or later. Now, so if I go to Google, I have no idea how this is going to turn out. It may turn out better later. So right now we don't show up anywhere if I do a search for that. If I do search for those individually, how about if I do search for that phrase? Let's see if I get up there at all. Yeah, so here we go. So that actually shows up. If I do building better developers as a string, then we actually show up, here. So if somebody's searching, then depending on how they set it up, they may actually get us ranked pretty high on it. And obviously in our situation, our phrase, building is very common, better is very, very common, and developers is very common. So we have to have this whole phrase as opposed to a single word. If you can be a single word that you can be a top, first page pick or landing on Google, then you're doing great. You're off to a great start. But the way you do this stuff is Google, you feed it content. The more content you give it, the more likely you are to jump up on your on the search results, that you're going to move off of page 50 down to page 1, hopefully. So you want to have that consistency. You want to keep using the same words, the same phrases. You want to go do this across all of these social sites. Now, once you've got some of these social sites up, you do want to make sure that you put together some sort of essentially like some goals and a social schedule. We talk about it in the link here, and we've got several other links on the document for this particular episode. If you want to learn more, a lot of different sources, a lot of different social platforms that are covered on those links. But generally speaking, you're going to want to set yourself some goals and try to find some ways to achieve them. Maybe I want X number of, I want 5 signups on my mailing list by the end of this month, or I want 500 or 5,000, or I want to get to 100 visitors in the first week. Things like that. Is set some of this stuff up, and then look at some how are you going to do this? Some of it may be just, hey, if I want to have 100 visitors to my site, well, maybe I go out to Twitter and I start, I get on a couple of Twitter feeds and I start talking to people and doing some replies and put a little link out to my site, and then hopefully somebody will reciprocate, and the next thing you know, maybe I've got some visitors. Maybe I go out to some other blog sites, some other posts, make some comments out there, make sure I've got a link to my site. Hopefully some people come and join it. You can do advertising, and you can do sort of like flood the market type advertising, where it's just impressions, so you're just paying for thousands and thousands of impressions and not necessarily clicks. Particularly Facebook's really good about that. If you want to just get a name out, it has ways to do that are fairly reasonably priced. At least last time I really pushed on it, they were. I have not done Facebook ads in the last year or so, thus they may be. I think they've gone up a little bit in price. You'll have to take a look, and with all these things, your market, how you restrict them. Whether it's like global, national, just your city, all those things are going to come into play as far as the cost of promoting your site. But the best way to do this stuff is not to try to do it in a week, a day, a week, or even a month, but through steady content. Google likes steady content more than anything else. So part of the reason that Developreneur has shown up, in Google is because, and if you look for Developreneur by itself, let's see if I can do that without it jumping to site, then you're going to see that it's going to show up pretty quick because we do a lot of, we've done a lot of content now. We've got a steady stream of over a year. We show up pretty big, on that. If I went to like my other site that I haven't done anything in a while, let's see what happens there. You do see my image show up right away here, and I'm still, as a podcast, I'm up there. Quite a bit of stuff is showing up. Actually, it works out really well without having to do, any kind of quotes around these or anything like that. So that turns out, I don't know if those are my images or not, but it gets you there right away, which is actually what you would want, to like go right to a podcast. The Developreneur podcast is newer, so it's not going to have that sort of information yet. But hopefully in another 6 months or a year, maybe we'll see that that podcast start to pop up. It's like I said, I don't think it showed up, and it does show up. So the podcast is up there, which is not bad. I mean, that's what you want. Is you want to be able to get to your website, which we've got here. You want to be able to get to your social accounts, and definitely like here we really don't, like I said, we don't do a lot on Facebook, so you probably don't even see Facebook at all here. Oh, here it is. That was our old, that one had actually a lot more traffic, and that's why our old IT for Recruiters site shows up from Facebook more than Developreneur. It hasn't had as much and as regular traffic. So that's where you can see, some of the things that you're going to get out of Google. And of course, having key phrases like we have here where it's not, it's not spelled properly and some things like that. If I do that, then I'm not going to see, so see here, it's not going to take the misspelling. It's not going to show up. So you have to spell it rightly. So we've sort of gamed the system a little bit there, that if somebody wants to search for us, they're going to find us pretty quickly. If you go to something that's a more common name, you're going to struggle with that. So get get a page or two out there, start playing around with it. I would definitely start by picking 1 or 2 channels, 2 at the most, that you focus on, and win those, work them, send people there, communicate with people whenever somebody posts, reply, Let them know that you're out there, that you're listening, and that's going to be your best approach. That's going to be your way to actually build a following, build a community, and get some buzz going about your site. Get that brand going. That will do it for today. Hopefully you got a page set up and got going. It's a pretty quick one. A lot of reading to do this time around. You may want to do that over the weekend. But we'll be coming back tomorrow with a little bit more to wrap up week 3. Until then, have yourself a good one.